I believe the peak of humanity in the United States started in the early 2000s when cell phones started becoming more common. And around that time, humanity crossed a threshold, not just into a new millennium, but into a cultural shift we didn't expect. A shift away from responsibility, a shift away from consequences, and most concerning, a shift away from accountability. People started thinking less about the effects of their lives came from the causes of their actions and inactions. I believe it's because effects didn't happen quick enough. People didn't see what caused them. There's a universal law called the law of gestation. The law is that every seed planted in the universe has a specific time to mature, like a pregnancy of a baby's 9 months from conception. Most people think that and live as if effects spontaneously occur and they have no contribution to them, as if what they did or did not do had nothing to do with the outcomes that they have. People make choices but refuse to own the outcomes. Leaders make mistakes but rarely admit their faults. Companies fail customers but blame the employees, and governments overspend and blame the other political parties. People everywhere suffer silently, not just from what's happening, but from what they're actively avoiding within themselves. It's as though we've adopted the idea that we can make choices without consequences of those choices. In a world of cause and effect, this is an unrealistic philosophy. We want the rewards, but we don't want the work. We want the love, but we don't want to give it. And perhaps most damaging of all, we've started to believe that consequences are things that are done to us, not things that belong to us. If you look closely over the years, you'll see that accountability has been slowly disappearing because of three forces. The first force is excuse culture. We've learned to justify everything. Social media makes it easy to shift blame, to broadcast victimhood, and to frame mistakes as someone else is doing. Accountability has been replaced with blame. The second main force is institutional distrust, which is governments, corporations, and media have repeatedly shown us a lack of accountability. And because of this, many people have started to believe if they don't have to be accountable, why should I? The third main force is comfort at all cost. We have designed a life of convenience, but convenience has a cost. It has caused us to be comfortable with average, and we've forgotten what uncomfortable growth feels like. Responsibilities become uncomfortable. Facing your mistakes is uncomfortable. Making amends in relationships is uncomfortable. But avoiding discomfort also means avoiding opportunities for growth. There's a common saying that the hard life leads to an easy life, and the easy life leads to a hard life. Consider the saying with your health. If you do not exercise and don't eat healthy, and you also have destructive habits, you would be a fool to believe you'll stay healthy or that you would not increase your potential of getting a disease that minimizes your lifestyle or kills you. One of the greatest misunderstandings of our time is that consequences are punishments. Consequences are results, they're information, and they're feedback from your life. The brutal truth is, you're the only common denominator in all your consequences, the ones you hate and the ones you love. If you overspend, debt isn't punishment. It's information that you need to be more financially responsible. If you overeat, the weight gain is not cruelty. It's data that you need to change your diet and your exercises. And if you're constantly in broken relationships, it's not bad luck. And it's not the other person's fault. It's a mirror showing you what parts of you need to heal. We live in a world where people reject the mirror. They want to destroy it or avoid it because they don't want to face some of their realities. They post online how the mirror is unfair. Mirrors only reflect back to you what you put in them. Those people stay stuck in cycles because they refuse to take accountability for their consequences and take responsibility to improve them. When you reject the consequences of your actions, you also reject the power to shape your future. Think about this. How can anyone grow if they refuse to admit they're wrong? If you think it's not your fault, why would you think you have anything to improve? How can society improve if very few people take accountability for their outcomes and responsibility to improve them? How can you improve if you don't accept that your choices are yours? If you blame your poor health on fast food, why would you start doing anything to become healthy? Accepting your choices as yours is not punishment, it's ownership. And ownership leads to power, and power leads to freedom. Accountability is always available. When everyone wants to blame each other, you can choose to be different. You can choose to stop outsourcing your accountabilities as if there's someone else's responsibilities to correct. And when you do that, you start to claim your consequences. And you discover a new and beautiful perspective. You don't just earn your consequences, you also earn your power and potential. You earn the rewards of your work. You earn the respect that comes from owning your mistakes. And you earn the inner peace that comes from aligning with who you are, with who you present yourself to be. We need to let go of our excuses. They've taken too much already, too much wasted time, too many broken relationships, and too many wasted opportunities. There's four interpretations of the ways humans interact. And unfortunately, most people spend their lives at the lowest level. This level takes no accountability and there's no space for growth. This level is what they do to you, also known as victimhood. At this level, you're removing accountabilities of your experiences and you're powerless because you think things are happening to you. Second level of accountability is you're owning your actions. And this is when you do something to them. But unfortunately, most people use this as a hybrid with what they did to you. This is a reaction to them. You may own they did something to another person, but it was because someone did something to them first. Like the saying, eye for an eye. And if we all did that, the world would be blind. It becomes ownership when you did what you did because that's who you're being. That is a response. Now, quick side note is reactions are when you do something out of habit. You're acting the same way you have before. These are done subconsciously, like the way you drive. Responses are when you choose to do something consciously, like when you started to learn how to drive. The third level of accountability is what you do to yourself. The only person involved in this interaction is yourself, unless you do a hybrid version of this by thinking you did something self-inflicted because of what they did to you. For example, people become alcoholics, drug addicts, and gym rats because someone did something to them. And they use these actions as medications to soothe their suffering. When you own doing things to yourself, you do it because that's who you're being, regardless of who anyone was. Last and toughest level of accountability, very few people ever get to and fewer live in, is what they do to each other. When we see we're all one and interconnected, it'll help take on this level of accountability. There's multiple levels to this, and the lowest level would be your family. A level up from that would be your community, and then there's many levels until the highest level of accountability, which is global, if you own what happens on Earth. Now, this can be a moment to reclaim the simplest truth. I am accountable for my life. Not in theory, not a meme on Instagram, and not when it's convenient and easy. And when we claim full accountability, not just as individuals, but as families, communities, and as the human race, we stop rejecting consequences as punishments, and we start using consequences as fuel. Fuel to grow, fuel to change, and fuel to build things like we want a better world to look like. The question I leave with you today is, What consequences in your life have you been avoiding that you're now willing to own? And if you're unsure, look at the four areas of life. Health. Do you like the physical condition of your body? Do you like the majority of your thoughts? And do you have a spiritual connection you like with the higher power? Second is relationships. How do you think of yourself? How are your relationships with your loved ones? And then how are your social networks? Third area is career. Are you doing something you enjoy or just doing something to pay the bills? And the last area is resources. How much money do you have? Do you own the assets you've dreamt about? And how much time do you have to do the things you love to do or would love to do? When you take the first steps towards accountability, you take the first steps towards freedom. Goodbye for now. Go own your life.